My name is Lola. I'm an architecture student and I moved to Granada about a month ago. I am actually a student in London and so I'm only here for the summer. But every now and again I go outside and I see students or creatures. I'm joking. But I just thought maybe I'll make this video and I'll help somebody out there. And if you clicked on this video, that somebody is you. Okay, this is stress from being in front of a camera, okay? But I'm gonna pretend that you're here with me. Let's get into the video, shall we? First things first, let's talk about accommodation. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite hard to find accommodation here. Everything is cheap and there's lots of listings, but people just don't get back to you. So the websites that I used mostly was Idealista and Fotocasa. Fotocasa was probably the best website. They flooded my inbox with listings. Every day there's new listings and there's rooms and there's studios and there's apartments. So I've personally found it quite good and people got back to me more often than Idealista. However, I did get this place through Idealista, so I can't really... They're both linked below, so you can go have a look. I think I messaged more than 40 places and got one reply. I don't know, maybe it was too early. But also, it was quite hard to find because I was only coming for a couple months, whereas a lot of people wanted to rent it to a student that's gonna stay for the whole term or year. Long story short, I came here with a hotel for 4 days. I only managed to get a couple viewings 1 day before or 2 days before I actually moved here. So... that was tough. Now, if you're doing Erasmus, you have your own kind of website that I saw online where you can like look for the student accommodation place. Now, the areas that you should look in. If you're coming for a specific college or university, please double check the campus of the university that you're coming for. They are scattered around the cities and some of them are quite far from the city center. By far, I mean like maybe a half an hour walk. Maybe even more sometimes. If you don't have a particular location, Granada is basically 2 main streets in the shape of an inverted L, like this. I'll show you a map right here, and I'll highlight the main streets. So anything near these streets will be better. And anything near these areas is, I would not recommend because it's pretty much up the hill. It's quite hard to get. Small streets. I mean, for me as a young adult woman, I prefer to stay in the city center just because I found it safer. Also keep in mind that in the city center you're gonna have smaller shops, smaller grocery stores, and if you go more towards like the suburb areas, you're gonna have the larger shopping malls and bigger grocery shops, which means things are a little bit cheaper. Next, we'll talk about transport. I personally came to Granada with the train, which was quite comfortable, I must admit. It was a little bit pricey, but it was definitely worth the money because it's closer to the city center, which means I could just walk to the hotel, and also it saved me the time and money from like having to get transfers to the airport. So I do recommend coming by train if you can. If you're coming via the airport, there is a bus, but it goes to the bus station, not the train station, the bus station, which is a little bit further away. I'll put a map here, and it's about a 45-minute walk from the city center, so make sure that you check the destination of your bus because there's only some that come to the city center. But you can easily get to the bus station with the metro. It's more like a tram than a metro, but it's nice nonetheless, and it's quite cheap. I think it's €1.20 one way, so you can easily get from the bus station to the city center in about 20 minutes, I believe. So it isn't bad at all. To get the tickets in the metro is very simple. Every station there is a little ticket machine and you either click single or double. And then after you're living here for a while, especially if you're a student, I'm sure that you have some kind of discount. They're quite good towards students in the sense that everything has a discount for students, so that's quite good. And if you're coming by car, I am not sure how it works, but I am sure that there's very little parking. If I had a choice, I'd definitely come by train. It was very chill. It was my first time in a train, like long distance train, and it was quite a good experience. And then after you're in the city, you'll probably walk everywhere. Even if you don't like walking, it's just so easy to walk everywhere in Granada, and it's a lovely walk as well, so there's no reason you would have to take a bus. Unless you're going up the hill, or I don't know, unless it's a little bit further away or you're late or anything like that. I haven't taken a single bus and I've been here for over a month now. So yeah, it's very easy to get around. I don't know how to get the ticket for the bus. I saw one bus stop that had the ticket machine, but not all of them do. So I'm not exactly sure how to get the tickets for the bus. but I know that there's a lot of buses. For a city of this size, I think it's quite a powerful supply of buses. Next, we're gonna talk about the local culture and things you should know, because I didn't. Nobody told me. This place is boiling. The other day I went out and it was 46 degrees outside. 46 degrees outside. But it is quite dry, thankfully, which means that you don't feel the heat as much as if it was humid. And usually in hot places, people are friendly. Not a lot of people speak fluent English, but they try to help you whenever they can. I could always ask people questions and they all were very willing to help me. And people like to eat out a lot. The town center is always buzzing. There's always people eating. There's always people drinking. Tapas are free in Granada. They are free. It took me a while until I understood if you buy a drink, you get a tapa. It's just how it works. It's nice. It's lovely. Every weekend there's like these dance parties in the like square behind here. It's quite nice, you know, you go out and people are dancing. If you've done the minimum amount of research about Granada, I know that you know about the Alhambra and the mountains. So I'm not gonna go extensive about that, but they are worth the hype. They are really nice. It's lovely. The view from the mountain, it's just amazing. I'm going to the Alhambra next week actually, so I'm really excited. I did go to the Alcazaba in Malaga, and that introduces me to the next topic, which is places to visit. So the Alhambra obviously, but also you've got loads of cities in Andalusia that are beautiful and that have a whole lot of history. 1.5 hours by bus you can be in Malaga, a little bit more you can be in Seville, Cordoba. So it's a really great location in the sense of what things you can visit, especially if you like architecture. But if you are moving here and you need to buy your little homely goods, let's talk about where you can do that for the least amount of money. So I did the mistake of buying all my things in my local grocery shops, and obviously I paid so much more expensive because of that. Now that I already know the city, I know that if you go to the Nevada shopping center, you can find there a Pepco, which is the best in my opinion, the cheapest, and you have loads of options to choose from. And you have an IKEA and a Mercadona and Tiger and just, you know, options really. Now if you're located more towards the north, there is an El Campo, which is one of the cheapest supermarkets you can shop at. That's great. And then near El Campo you've also got a big Carrefour and like loads of home goods shops, and they're quite big, so they can offer you a competitive price and the options. If you're in the town center, there is local grocery shops. There's plenty of them, but they're quite small, so they are a little bit more expensive than the bigger ones. And there's a big Mercadona, which is like the closest big supermarket, I guess. But it's still not, like, it's not that big. It doesn't have a lot of kitchen stuff, for example, or bed sheets and things like that. And last but not least, don't fall into the second unit scam. Make sure you read the labels properly, because a lot of the discounts that you see on the shelves are actually applied onto the second unit of that product, not to the first. I just wanted to give you a couple extra tips that I'm sure you're going to find valuable when you're here. The air conditioning units. I cannot count on both my hands the amount of times I've been shat on by AC units in the middle of the sidewalk. You need to look down and see where the water's dripping, otherwise you're gonna get drips on your head, on your clothes, everywhere. It's a horrendous experience. I hope it's AC water, but it's very uncomfortable nonetheless. Make sure you look where you're going. People here tend to also not move out of the way. I'm not sure why. So you kind of have to be aware of your surroundings, otherwise you might lose an arm. Always be mindful of pickpocketers and that kind of thing. The supermarket food is actually quite good in Spain. Like, they have salad bars, and I got a piece of chicken the other day with potatoes, and like, it was really nice and healthier than the options we have in London, at least. Also, I know that the university campuses are quite far away from each other, but they're all quite well connected. There's always buses or a metro that will take you there, so I don't think you should worry that much about wherever you are in the city. Really, you'll be able to get there. I hope everything goes well with you moving or with whatever is going on in your life. It would be nice to know if any of you guys are actually coming soon, and enjoy. It's a lovely place to be. I've been really happy with the sun shining every day. Oh my god, I don't want to go back to London, honestly, but all good things come to an end, including this video. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a like and subscribe if you want to stick around. I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!